Third grade, it is Benchmark Corrections, Part 2. We're going to review some key points, and you're going to get a chance to correct more benchmarks and get more points back. So that's good for both of us. All right, let's move right into our first key point, which is types of communities. Now, there were several problems on this. It was also our constructed response. We could have gotten so many points just by knowing our types of communities. So let's review that. First, we have an urban community. An urban community has many people living close together, small amount of space, not very much open space or natural areas, all right? A lot of people ride the bus, taxis, maybe walk. You have lots of tall skyscrapers, a lot of people living in a small area. Then you leave your urban communities and you start to get to suburban communities. Maybe there's people who work in the city, but they don't want to live in all of that traffic and with all those crowds. So they live out in a suburban community. They're close to, but not in cities. There's fewer people. People live in houses or small apartment buildings, not skyscrapers. Many people have yards because you have more space, and there's more natural areas like parks and things like that. Now, most people are going to drive. There's not as many buses and trains in the suburbs. And also, you have room for a car because you have a driveway to park it in. Okay, so suburban communities, a little different than urban communities, found right outside. Now, if you keep going past the suburban communities, then you'll get to rural communities. That means there's fewer people, a few buildings spread out over large distances, lots of open space and natural areas, and you have to drive because it's just too far to walk. Things are spread out. So it's a big area with a small amount of people, the opposite of my urban community. Now, in this picture, we see a rural community, but honestly, this makes it look a little busier than it is. You see a lot going on here. Really, in a rural community, you'd have all of these things, but they'd be much more spread out. It would look like this. A house here, a house there, some trucks, some cars, maybe some people here and there. A big area with a few people. That's a rural community. Now, remember, the opposite of a rural community is an urban community. Okay, lots of people in a small area. This urban community is actually Chicago, right here in the center of the United States. Now, the other key point that we're going to review is settlers. Settlers are so important, all right? We talked about it, we did a timeline, but we still didn't score too well on that, all right? Remember, your Africans came over to work as slaves. Your French came over to trade on the Mississippi River. You also have another group. You have your Cajuns. All right. Now, why do the Cajuns look so bad, so sad? Oh, yeah. Remember the Cajuns got kicked out of Canada, and that's why they came to Louisiana. Why'd they pick Louisiana? Oh, yeah. They're similar to the French. Look how they look similar. They also speak the same languages, and they go to the same churches. Okay. So the Cajuns came down to be with other people who spoke French. Some of this basic information would have helped us so much, all right? We didn't have it then, but we can still fix that problem and actually get some of our points back. So you remember the instructions for your chart, fill out your chart, do the best you can, and I'll see you next time.